Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to my channel. I hope you've been enjoying the videos that we have been posting. I'm here this evening again to give you another interesting chat, and this time around we are going to be talking about unemployment, skills development and related issues as it has to do with you. We'll be discussing jobs that will be existing in the future. How do you position yourself? How do you better yourself? How do you improve yourself to become better in the future? If you have not subscribed, just click on the red button, subscribe and turn on your notification so you can have access to more of our videos. This evening I'll be talking with an interesting personality, Dr. Ayo Arowolo. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Data Lead Africa, a company that helps you to turn data into decisions. I will be chatting with him on some related issues. Stay tuned. Dr. Arowolo, you're welcome to my channel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So, tell us a little more about Data Lead and what you do.
So, Data Lead Africa is, from the name already, you know it has to do with data. We're a training firm in providing services in data analytics, data science. We provide training in analytics. We also consult for governments and non-governmental organizations, providing support in terms of data monitoring and evaluation and research. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doc. Unemployment is an issue. What can the average job seeker do to have an edge? Okay, yeah, you deal with data. With the rate of unemployment, what can the average job seeker do to have an edge?
Oh, great. I think that's a great question. First is to understand the unemployment issue in Nigeria. Currently, by data, we see unemployment in Nigeria has increased to about 33%. Okay, if you try to break that down in terms of the way an ordinary person will understand, we're saying that 3 out of 10 Nigerians are not employed. Okay, so and that's are not employed. That is out of the scope of those who are underemployed, meaning he has a master's degree but working as a fuel attendant, is employed but underemployed in that kind of sense. So the conversation around unemployment is really a huge issue, not just in Nigeria but everywhere in the world. But what is the way out? The way out is always simple and straightforward. One is from the perspective of the job seeker, and two is from the perspective of those who regulate or provide the opportunities for jobs to thrive. From the perspective of the job seeker, you need to learn the skills that the jobs are looking for. You can carry skills that are not relevant to the market. It will be tough. On the part of those who regulate, the government, is to create an enabling environment for more jobs to thrive so that people can get employed.
All right. So in that case, you are trying to say that some of the things we are learning now may not necessarily be relevant
Absolutely.
to the field.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so beyond the certificate is to acquire skills that the jobs are in need of. Yeah, but you also believe that beyond effort, God has fashioned out individuals' lives. Okay? So, if I believe that God has fashioned out my life, why should I go for any other skill? When I have the certificate already, what should be individuals' response to that? Especially people who are laid back, believing that things will work out in His time. What should be an individual's response to the fact that, yes, God has a part to play in your life, but you also need to be ready for the opportunity?
Yeah, so more like when we say things will work out in His time, what will work out in the time is that you will see where you are. So time don't get things done. Time only reveals where you are. So if you've done nothing in 2 years, 2 years only measures for you that you've done nothing. What's the dimension for me, the God factor in people's life? I believe absolutely that there's a God in charge of the affairs of men, and he wires us to suit his glory. Yeah. And in that sense, right from childhood, we have propensity to certain kind of lifestyle, to certain kind of skills, which prepares us for certain kind of jobs. And sometimes these skills, this preparation may not necessarily be by our own strategic plan, but things happened in purpose. You just find out that you're in a community and this is what they do in that community, then you learn. Or you meet a friend who shares with you an information that becomes a career leverage for you. All of these are the plan of the Grand Weaver, and we must recognize that.
Okay. So as a data analyst, what do you think you can contribute to the issue of unemployment we have been discussing about, and to an extent, by extension, the electioneering process, so that when we talk about the use of data, how does that help in solving practical problems, unemployment, election issues, and related matters?
Yeah, so personally, I think that's a combo of a question. First, data analytics as it regards to unemployment. Data analytics is a skill that is in high demand. From organization, and that makes it high paying. Once a skill is in high demand, then the reward for it is also high. So in terms of unemployment, in our organization here, over 80% of those who have gone through our boot camp and have learned data analytics have been able to find a job to do, meaning that there are off-takers for these skills right immediately. And when it comes to electioneering, people vote for different reasons. The reasons people vote differ across a wide spectrum. Differ. Some are going to be voting for a particular candidate because they just like his forehead, the way his head looks. Some will be voting for a candidate for more technical reasons that he speaks better. So, yeah, while you cannot take away the fact that the electorate chooses a candidate based on his own idiosyncrasies, what do we now do as data analysts? We try to, in a way, push out some objective information about the candidates. We just published an article on the democratic transition in Nigeria and the voting patterns. That article was to help people see the journey Nigeria has gone through in terms of democratic transition. For instance, what we are experiencing now is a journey. In the First Republic, the political parties that made up the election, that made up the politics, were majorly regional. They were majorly regional parties. In the Second Republic, it became a little bit better, where some of these NCNC, the Action Group, they began to collapse into having a bit of some national outlook. That changed in the Third Republic. In fact, in the Third Republic, the government specifically scraped all the parties and established just two parties, SDP and NRC. These two parties, you are now forced, whether you want to vote by regional sentiment, you are now forced to choose between SDP and NRC. But in the Fourth Republic, that has changed, laying on that foundation. One, there is the regional inclinations, where this person belongs to my tribe, that person belongs to my tribe. But on our part as data people, one of the things we're sharing is what is this party saying about specific sector of interest? What's Labour's party's take on education, on basic education? What's APC's take on basic education? What's PDP's take on basic education? So if you're interested in education, you could now weigh which of them offers better value and select. What's these parties, what are they talking about? What's their take on climate change? What's their take on gender representation and gender related issues? So ours now is to push out these objective facts so that the electorate can make more informed decision. But that does not take away the fact that the electorate will always vote for whatever reasons appeal to them. Yes.
To them.
Yes.
Okay, so as data analysts, you help us to know the kind of decision we make and possibly why we make them.
Sure.
So you break it down for us. You did mention that you train young people, and about 80% of them, you have 80% job success rate.
Yes.
So why did you focus on training young people in data science? Why do you think is a skill, is a must-have skill? Okay, in addition to whatever training they must have had, and what has been your experience in terms of the receptivity and functionality?
Okay, so while I will not say it's a must-have skill, I will say it's one of the skill in high demand. Tech is changing the way we view the world and the way we live in the world. So having tech skills improves your employability, of course. So, and one of the things that tech has done for us is that it has helped us to be able to aggregate data faster. For instance, people have been talking, but the advent of Twitter, a microblogging platform, now gives us room to aggregate what people are saying and pull up common themes and then say this is what is trending. That's big data. Now bringing us to a new age where we can now harvest this data and use that, establish patterns, look at what patterns the data is speaking to, and can advise whoever is in need of that information to take informed decision based on the available data. So we train people in data science because it's also a high demand skill. The data are there. Organizations are looking for who has the skill to harness this data and to analyze and to help organizations take informed decision. And I think it's something that young people should look into, especially those born in the age of tech. Already we are digital natives. So what stops us from now leveraging fully on the tools we've been born into to also earn?
It's interesting because you just mentioned that it's one of the skills that is in high demand. Even to the elementary arithmetic, you are taught mean, median, and all of that, which is an introduction to data. So what are the skills, other skills that will be needed for the jobs of the future? Things are changing, like you have said, and then the data that used to be a specialized field, it used to be a department called statistics.
Yes.
Now it's no longer restricted to that department to be able to have this knowledge. So what are the other skills you think that might be needed for jobs of the future? For people who are already graduates, people who are still in school that want to pick up one or two skills to prepare themselves for today's job. Can you mention some of them?
Yeah, great. Thank you for that question. I actually have a teaching on the jobs for the future and the skills required, but I'll just highlight some of them. Because the world is going tech, one of the problem that will also emanate from the world going to tech is also cyber insecurity. So all of us are online. You are either on Facebook, on WhatsApp, or so you have your banking apps, you have, all of your details are either digitally with the government or digitally in the hands of a social platform owner. So our information, our digital trail are everywhere. I mean, so cyber security becomes something of concern. In fact, there are projections that the next world war will not be gun wars. It will be bio wars and cyber wars. It will be bio wars and cyber wars. And that's why governments of the day are concerned, about what's happening on the cyberspace. That's why they want to regulate and all of that. So cybersecurity is a skill to learn. Who are going to be the defenders of the nations, the defenders of organization? Every organization needs a cybersecurity expert. That's one. Because the world is going tech, interpersonal relationship is going to reduce. We're going to be mediating more through technological tools. So you spend more time on your phone, on your computer. Remote working is going to be the new order of day. As people reduce personal relationship, interpersonal relationship, we're going to have mental health issues. And so if mental health issues will become a predominant health concern of the future, learning emotional intelligence will be a skill of the future. Learning how to manage mental health will be a skill of the future. And like people will always say, there's one skill that will never go off, is how people will eat.
Yeah.
And but you see, traditional farming can no longer feed the world. Our population, our growth, infrastructural growth, and use of space, the remaining space for agriculture can no longer sustain the world on traditional, if we continue the traditional agricultural path. So yes, skill for the future, sustainable farming. Yeah, we need to learn about green and eco-friendly farming system. These are high demand skills. Okay. Because the whole world is moving on the digital space, on the social media platforms, the traditional marketers are going to fast disappear. New set of marketing skills is required. So digital marketing skill is a skill for the future. How do you sell to a generation that is online? Okay, so those are some of the skills of the future that we need to consider vis-a-vis the jobs. Of course, entertainment is not going to go off because man's major connection again to be able to have a bit of mental sanity will be entertainment. So going into sports, going into music, going into arts and the creatives will be a way for people to have some breather in the world that is tech driven. Okay.
Hey, just in case you're watching this and you are wondering how do you get to be part of Digital Lead Africa, you're going to see their details on the screen, and you just send them an email. You can come for data analytics bootcamp. You can come for training. You can intern with them. There are lots you can do with them. And also, if you want to know more about jobs of the future, you can reach out through the email to Dr. Arowolo, and then you get to know more about it. And just to prepare yourself for the future so that you can better yourself. Okay, yes, it's true, there are unemployment everywhere, but there are people also that are still securing jobs because they have the skill that is required in the marketplace. So, you love data science?
Yeah, I do.
After data science, what next?
Okay, so personally for me, I think I come from a multi-skilled background. Settling for data science is one of my belief that God also wired and directed my path. But aside from data science, I love music. I do music. I hope to be able to release my album one of these days. Aside from music, I love acting. Maybe one day I'm going to appear in the movies. So aside from data science, I do music. I like to act. And Much more. I just want a peaceful and a better world. So
Great. Thank you so much. So we should be expecting to see you in a movie. I don't know what they're going to call it. Maybe the return to America or whatever the name is going to be. And of course, you are into music. That's a good one. I mean, when you have spent a lot of time analyzing data, managing data, you need some relaxation. So, will you say, or how will you say, your view and knowledge of God has contributed to your success in life? Of course, we have mentioned this before, but I'm just bringing it back. There's no how we can talk without the God factor. There's no how we can talk without the hands that guides, that protects, and lead us. How will you say your view and knowledge of God has actually contributed to your success in life?
great. First, aside from my strong belief that everything I am is God. Personally, what has been key to my success is not just skills, technical skills, is people, relationships, network. And I find that how I relate with people is largely because of my faith. So first, I do not relate with people based on their social status. I relate with people first because they are human. These human beings eventually become presidents of nations. These human beings eventually become gatekeepers that open the door for you and you also open the doors for others. So yes, my knowledge of God influences how I relate with people. Not first from the point of benefit, but first from the point that they are human, and every human being deserves to be loved, deserves to be respected, deserves to have peace. So and I relate with people from that perspective, and that has greatly influenced my journey, my personal success, and also on the business front.
All right, so how about a young man that is watching this channel as like a parting word, who is at a point where he's asking himself, will I ever become someone in life? Can anything good come out of me? What word do you have for such young persons? Word of hope, word of encouragement to let him or her know that this is not your end, okay? You can comfort and shine forth.
So first is to say that if God does not have a very good plan for you, you won't be here. One day I was reading on the internet the benefit of mosquitoes, and they outlined on that side 10 benefits of mosquitoes. How mosquitoes contribute to what they contribute to the ecosystem. And wow, it inspired me that wow, every little detail that God created had a purpose. Not to talk of us that He now created in His image to be in charge for Him. So first is to identify that God has a good plan for me. 2 is to trust the process. And I say trust the process with all humility, because when you are in it, you don't trust it. When you are passing through it, it's tough. Okay? But first is to identify and to recognize that what you're going through will end up in praise. Listen to the inner voice that prompts you on what to do. Treat people well. Listen to those promptings that tell you, learn this skill, learn that skill. You may be watching me now and you hear data science for the first time. It could just be a prompting on what next to learn. Or you've heard me talk about emotional intelligence. It could just be the breakthrough for you. So that's that. Listen to what those promptings are, and you are just a step away from the big success.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Arowolo. It's been an interesting time chatting with you. And just in case you're interested in contacting Data Lead Africa, like I said, you see the email on the screen. Just reach out to them, learn more about data analytics, and if you want to know more about job of the future, contact Dr. Arowolo. And until I come your way next time, thank you for watching and see you.
Thank you. Bye.